Hey everyone, I wanted to start this video by saying, I told you so. I freaking told you guys. Back on March 26th, I released a video called Support Characters Are Broken and Need a Nerf. But I've been saying this since literally January. You know why? Because I saw the writing on the wall. I saw that. I saw everything coming in. I looked at all the buffs and the nerfs that were happening to the support characters and everybody else, and then, factor that into the developers' inability to to balance the game correctly. And I saw what was coming. But no, everybody looked at me like a madman, like I was talking crazy. Actually, no, that's not the case. After I gave my points, everybody was kind of accepting, right? Everybody was like, oh, I kind of see what he's talking about. It kind of makes sense. But I would say back in January, this was not the most common sentiment of, the support, how support was in the game. So as my usual format, my usual essay type format, I think it'll be first most important for me to go back into everything that led up to this point, right? The history of how we got to where we are now. But before we do that, I do want to say, this video isn't to make fun of any support character, support mains, right? I'm not trying to take anything away from you guys. I understand, they're valuable. What they do is valuable. I'm not trying to, talk trash about anybody. I'm just kind of criticizing a portion of the game that I think can be improved on. So please don't take offense of anything that I say. Anyways, with that, let's begin. So yeah, I've said this many times, but it's important to see why or how things got to the point where they are now, right? Where support characters are essentially gods. When the game first came out, there was one very big change, right? We went from 6v6 to 5v5. So support characters essentially lost in an off tank that would kind of do the peeling for them, kind of protect them and watch over them and everything. And so the game became very hard as a support character because of this adjustment phase, right? All the divers were kind of jumping into the back line and just kind of mollywopping like all the support characters. And it was described as playing Death by Daylight, right? And I also made a video like that. But people like me, and yeah, there's other people who are saying that this is just part of the learning curve. Everybody was adjusting. But because the outcry was so loud, Blizzard kind of reacted over like 6 months and just kept buffing support characters. What eventually started happening is essentially what I was saying. Well, not just me, but like other people, is that people got used to it. Like people got good at the game because people get good. Like you look at the skill level now compared to before. A silver level player is as good or even better than a platinum player back when, like, the first 2 years when the game came out. So, they have to trust people to be able to learn and adapt to certain things. So yeah, what ended up happening? What happened is what we said was going to happen. Support players learned how to fight. You look at an Ana player right now and compare it to an Ana player like 3 or 4 years ago, they are not the same animal. Ana players now are ruthless. Like, they don't care about you or your kids. So even with this, Blizzard kept buffing them. Even the passive is insane, but we're gonna get into that later. And what's funny is that back then, Blizzard specifically said that they did not want support characters to become DPS characters that have, that can essentially just heal themselves or heal other people. But that is literally what they are now. Like, almost every support character is a DPS character that can heal themselves and everybody else and make themselves immortal and run away. Another similar problem is the crowd control problem. Everybody has like a ton of CC, and it's been mitigated in the last patch, but that's gonna be a different video. Anyways, let's go into the different areas as to why support characters are such a problem. So first, let's talk about what I just said, that they are now DPS with tools and healing. Zenyatta was, if you look at Zenyatta was, his entire shtick was that he was a support character that hit like a truck, right? He didn't have that much healing, he had 0 mobility, but when he hit you, you would die. Now, every support character, when they hit you, you're gonna die. He completely lost his novelty. You have Kiriko that can two-shot any squishy. You got Baptiste who does more damage than a freaking soldier. You got you have like Brig who was designed to do damage. Well, that's actually debatable. But then again, you look at Ilari and her entire play mechanic is you put down an AFK healing pylon while she just shoots everybody. They all now have what made Zenyatta unique. And it makes you wonder, like, what's the purpose of DPS now? They're just weaker support characters. And if support characters are this good at DPSing, right, maybe DPS characters should be, buffed to be able to do what support characters do. So, no, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But knowing how Blizzard likes to balance the game, that might be happening. Personally, I think every single support character needs a nerf to their damage output. All of them. Besides maybe Mercy. But maybe also Mercy. Who knows? But it's gotten egregious. They're DPS characters that are as good as DPSing as DPS characters, but can also run away and support themselves. I do think they should be able to they should have enough DPS to defend themselves if somebody's diving on them, right? With skill, right? You should be only able to outmaneuver somebody with skill if you're a support character, in my opinion. Because that's not your role. Like your role is to support the team and not just go toe to toe with like every single DPS character. And this kind of brings me to my next point. There is a severe lack of counterplay to essentially maybe there's a severe lack of counterplay to the new support characters. As in, there's nothing you can really do to prevent them from doing what they're trying to do, right? They just kind of press a button and it kind of just makes them immortal, teleports them, makes them immortal, or like that. Yeah, they have like buttons, just like get out of jail free cards. And it's horrible to play against. It's so bad to play against. Like, let's say you're fighting a Baptiste, right? You fight a Baptiste, you get him down to like almost dying, and then he just instantly heals himself with that AoE healing thing that doubles his healing if he's under like, I think 25 or 50% of his HP. But then you bring him down again, and then he throws an immortality field. So now you got to destroy the immortality field before you can even like kill him anymore. But let's say if I'm playing Reinhardt, I have to swing at that thing like 3 different times. I'm gonna be dead by then, or his cooldowns are gonna be back for him to heal himself, or his teammate, his support teammate is gonna come and peel for him, or his entire team is just gonna jump on me. Like it's just ridiculous. Or even say I'm fighting a Kiriko, right? I damage her. If she doesn't kill me with like, if I'm playing Genji and if she doesn't like kill me with like the 2 hits she needs to kill me, she can just Suzu herself, and then, or like if she can get further away from me, she can just kind of heal herself with the passive. Or if anything goes bad, she could just teleport herself out, and like they kind of cycle through each other. It's not like Ana where, again, back in the day, I know I sound old, but like back in the day, if I was gonna dive on an Ana, I can dodge her. Her sleep, and kind of go in, strafe in because hitting that sleep dart it's not that easy, right? I don't think it's a hit scan, and I could kind of maneuver it. I can bait it out. I can kind of see it coming. I can kind of just wait for her to do it because it's a really loud noise, but I can do that. But also, she doesn't have a move where she just presses a button and wins, right? Like, it's not like Kiriko. Like, no matter what I do to her Kiriko, she can always use it, and it just always works, right? Whatever I do to a Baptiste, he can always just kind of throw down the immortality field, and he just doesn't die anymore. That's a problem. Ana is not like that. Yes, her nade is powerful. Yes, her sleep dart is powerful, but you can kind of work around it. The other two, there's just nothing you can do. You just press a button and it succeeds. Oh, and don't even get me started on Life Weaver, right? Almost anything you do, he can just pull somebody out of, and there's no consequences. Like, it just happens. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. There's nothing you can do to outplay it. He just presses a button and the person is just okay, right? That's the problem. Even if you dive on him, what are you going to do to stop him from putting a pedal on the ground and then going up into the air where you can't reach him? It's like, okay, well,
well, I guess I'm just not going to do anything anymore. And you have that so much, especially because there's two, right? So let's say you have like Baptiste and Lifeweaver, or Lifeweaver and Kiriko, or, you know, just any combination of just, you know, press a button and it just works type of characters. This is mainly for the lack of counterplay, not necessarily how they're all DPS. But then, you know, you throw in the whole DPS thing in there too, so it's a problem.
I would like to interrupt this video to ask you to like and subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, chances are you kind of like what I'm talking about, so you know, help me out, guys.
And well, this actually feeds into the next point. Support characters are like twice as hard to kill than a DPS character, right? And this is what I was saying at the beginning. Like, I've never played a game where you have a tank, DPS, and support where where support is just better almost like all around than the DPS at keeping themselves alive, right? Normally the tank protects the whole team but kind of has like moderate damage. DPS has that high damage, but they can kind of like kill themselves. But support, generally, they're just supposed to outlast your damage long enough for the rest of the team to go kind of help them, because their main focus is to support the team. These support characters are they're just so strong. Like you have to kill like the DPS to be able to kill support characters, as opposed to before you have to kill the support characters to be able to kill the rest of the team. There was that video from I forget what his name is, but he's playing Genji and he has his ultimate, and support is so crazy that he got his ultimate and he did every single strike, like one after, and it didn't miss a single strike on, I think it was like a Moira or an Ashe or something. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Where he just hit everything, but the person still just didn't die because there's just so much tech and so much healing that it almost doesn't even matter what you do. Especially when support characters are peeling for each other. Like when they heal each other, just leave. There's no point. There's just so much healing in the game. There's nothing you can do. Just leave them. It's probably easier to kill the tank at this point, but you know, you're supposed to kind of ignore the tank, kill the backline, and then get the tank. But I don't know, man. Like it's getting tough out here. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the passive healing of support characters, right? If you don't take damage for 2 seconds, you start to kind of regenerate your health. The passive healing has become so strong, I don't even think any role passives should be in the game anymore. I think all of it should be taken out, and I'm gonna make a video on that maybe next week. But it's the most disproportionately like useful passive ability of all the passive abilities. And mix that in with just how everybody's an escape artist now. Let's look at Moira. Like when Moira goes into her vanishing mode, when she gets out of it, she's in the time period where she can just recover all her health. Like it's just too much. And this goes again with my other videos. Do the developers play the game? Like it's so crazy to me. And my last point is something I think is probably going to get me in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyways. In comparison to all the other roles, support is like the most, in my opinion, chill thing to play. I don't need to say my opinion, this is my channel. But it's the most chill thing to play, as in, it's the most forgiving in the things you want to do, right? Like, let's say half the characters, you know, you don't even really need to aim that hard. I think the only character where aiming is like that serious is probably Anna. But everybody has some form of auto lock on or, you know, AoE healing ability. So that effectiveness with that difficulty of playstyle alongside with, you know, all the other perks that they have, right? Like the Discord Orb and the nades and the, you know, the Suzu. I think that is a problem, right? You play support, well, I play support character if I just kind of want to chill, if I want to be in the back line, and, you know, nobody's going to yell at me as long as I'm healing, right? I can just kind of heal bot, and, you know, I can yell at the tank for, you know, not beating the other tank. I can yell at DPS for not killing the enemy, but as long as I'm like close to them, I can just kind of heal everybody. There's not, that level of pressure isn't there from, you know, from my experience. It's also weird because everybody knows like the rotation of tanks, right? If there's a tank that's beating you, everybody knows who you need to switch to counter that tank. But support characters are probably better at countering tanks than other tanks are. Right? If you're playing against, let's say, a Roadhog and you don't have an Ana, you're not going to kill the Roadhog. But if you have the Ana, they can't play Roadhog. Like, you don't always need to go Orisa.
Another thing to think about is everybody knows, though, you know, the tank counter rotation, right? Everybody knows that, hey, if you see this tank, switch to this tank. Everybody knows the rock, paper, scissors, you know, switch to be able to handle whatever you're playing against. But it's the pressure is almost always on the tank to switch, while support characters can counter several of the tanks. Right, if certain support characters are being played, that's like half the roster of tanks that can't be played on the enemy team. So there's that lack of I don't know, because nobody's gonna tell the support character to switch to be able to counter the tank. That doesn't happen. Everybody always tells the tank to switch, or you know, sometimes they tell the DPS to switch, but it's never really on the support to switch.
But anyways, this isn't necessarily a problem, because I do think a different level of difficulty among, you know, characters is a good thing. But I do think like the easier a character is to play, I do think there should be some balance to it, right? You can't be super effective while being super easy to play, in my opinion. I think there should be like a reward for learning the harder characters. Anyways, that's the video. Hope I didn't piss anybody off too much, especially with the last part. But I've been saying this for almost a year now. Like, yeah, it's almost been a year, or it has literally been a year that I've been saying this. Well, no, yeah, I think it's been a year since I said this. So tell me what you agree or disagree with. Tell me where I'm like stupid or being an idiot. So I'm here for it, right? Discussions is part of the best thing of, you know, these videos. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also don't forget, I love you.